Hi, in this small video I would like to introduce you to something new, very exciting. A peer-to-peer network is being developed now using Pear runtime. What is the need on the internet? We want to connect with somebody else. We want to do that peer-to-peer. And why do we want to do that? We want to chat, we want to be gamers together. I might to connect to a friend, sharing pictures or whatever. Maybe I introduce some news, I find something interesting, make pictures, and someone else is consuming that news. Or I'm a creator and somebody's consuming my creations, like a musician where somebody's listening to his music or her music. Or I'm a renter of my apartment for a couple of days and somebody else wants to rent it. Or I'm a driver and I would like somebody to move, somebody else would like to go somewhere and I can take him there. We all know this. The way that we've introduced it and we use that is by introducing centralization. So all the things that we want to do on the internet, we are getting used to using IP addresses, go to a central server, and on that central server we share the pictures, we get our Uber taxi, we get our Airbnb rent apartment, all the things that we want to know. We use Spotify and listen to music where the producer of the music gets a little bit of money. That's the way that we're used to. So we want to connect and we use that central server to give us the application. And of course there are some costs for that central identity. And on the other hand, we need to identify on that central server. We need to share and put our data there. And it's not longer our data, it's the centralized data that's stored on that central server. So we have issues like privacy, but of course also they're using our data to sell it and to recover those costs and a little more. The other thing is that it's closed source. If we want to add something that we would like to that software, we're not able to because it's secret and you cannot change that software. The other thing that we might like or not like, there can be moderation. So if we put something on the server that the central server doesn't like, he can remove it. So, but why do we still need that central server in 2024? We all know the Moore's law, where everything is going much faster in IT. So the user equipment is very fast. The networks are very fast. So we also got security improvements. We got keet pear, so there's no need for a central server to check if we're the person that we said we would. There's also a very powerful open source community. Everybody's building things as soon as they have the opportunity, they start building it. And we said it in a couple of areas, a big amount of areas where people are creating software, putting it in the open source community, and other people are building upon that again. The other part is that a central server also limits the capacity. If I got a very fast internet connection and I got an excellent camera and the person that I'm chatting to has the same, it's limited by what the central server is using, because if he gives top quality to all their servers, it creates a lot of cost, of course, on the central side. And as we said, there is freedom of speech. If I can talk to another person, there's nobody needed in that central environment. So that comes where the goals are of pears.com. We want to have a peer-to-peer network where there's no central server. Of course, it needs to be user-friendly. It needs to be on any smartphone, any PC that we use, if it's Windows or a Mac. if it's an Android phone or an iPhone. And of course, it needs to be developer friendly. And one of the things, it's open source. Yeah, so it's friendly because you can build on other things. Use a language that a lot of people are familiar with, JavaScript, where a lot of the websites are built upon. And there's always an issue. If I have a new release out, I need to make sure that if I put an update of my software, it gets to everybody, which is a kind of a mess. You need to get everybody to upload the new version. So that's what we need to arrange, and we have arranged. And no investment in central server. So if as soon as my application is ready, I can put it on to my customers, and as soon as I got a new version, it's distributed to my customers automatically. That's what Pears.com has arranged. So what if we have this peer-to-peer? So it's open source, auto distribution. It's there's even no need for IP addresses because we've got keys that we can share, and we use the same key to get to the same to share information. What we have is a peer runtime, a software peer runtime, which is like a container. People are familiar with containers. If I build an application, I create a container around it that has all the information needed to run that application, and that container can run on a server. A similar model has been used for peer runtime. So there's a peer runtime that runs on a Windows machine. There's a peer runtime that runs on a Mac machine, on a MacBook. There's one that runs on an iPhone, on an Android phone. And my application doesn't care. He gets the information from peer runtime that makes sure that the application is running. So, and it's a JavaScript application. And on the other side, if I talk to my peer, he also has a peer runtime installation and the application that he has on the other side. So it's quite simple like that. And the good news is also, if we have more pairs, we get a better performance. So because it is distributed to all the peers and all the information is shared. It's a bit like, I've put it like here, it's BitTorrent 3.0. Really new, some people might know that. If we distribute software through BitTorrent, if a lot of people are online, it's very easy to get that new software. It's something similar. So the more people that are joining, the better performance I got, because I've got a lot of people that are able to give me the information and share that application and all the environments with me. There's a very good implementation, which is Keet, and it uses this also peer runtime, and something underneath there is hole punch, which helps us go through firewalls and all kinds of things. All the complexity is taken out just by using peer runtime. So that means that we can chat to each other on video with a huge high quality, because there's no central server that is limiting the performance. It's fully encrypted. You can just download it, run it. It's super easy. You can create a room and with a huge amount of people. That's running at the moment, using the same infrastructure, using the same software. So the big thing is developers rule. Yeah? Unlike the central server where you got closed source, everything is open. So if I create that friend application or a game or news or a creator application, or I can just create it, and I just need to have knowledge of JavaScript, and I can start building it. There's no cost for a central infrastructure. I can just be as creative as I can be, which I'm not, but a lot of developers are. Yeah, you can create your data-friendly Facebook. I can share I can connect to all my friends and share information and no need for a central Zuckerberg server to help me with that and sell my information. Or I can put anything on the chat that I would like, and not be censored because somebody might not like it. Think also about other regimes that don't like free speech. And of course, if there are no central servers, there are no central costs, there are better earnings because we take out the middleman. The middleman is not needed. So if I create software and we chat together, or if I create content and you absorb content, you can just get the money that I would pay partly to the central server. I can pay directly to you. So either cheaper or better earnings at least. Yeah, the costs go down because we're taking out the central part. Okay, so let's just look at, we got this runtime, pear runtime, like a container. I got my app running there. You got your container and running your apps. What kind of things can we think about? So we already have that keet.io. There's also a remote desktop already available, which is made as one of the examples. If you go to pears.com, you can download that remote desktop. But play games, yeah? Why do we need a central server to play games if we want to do that? You can create an application like Spotify, listen to my music, or rent my room, like an Airbnb, or maybe a pair Uber, I'm your taxi, or you can share my pictures like we do on Instagram, or see my video as on YouTube. And of course, if we take the last two, and a lot of new developments are in the area where we take the same pictures but then in a different way, or same videos but in a different way. So a lot of opportunities. So this is a very short video. I hope you enjoy it. Please look up pears.com and take the right spelling. They are empowering the developers to really get to a Web 2.0. If there's something wrong with the video or I didn't explain things right, just send me a note and I'll update the video. I just like to share it and hope you enjoy it. Thank you.